Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Gabby and I'm so glad that you're joining me today. And in today's video, I am doing yet another foundation review, and this one is a drugstore foundation. And I'm going to be trying out the Rimmel London Lasting Finish 24-Hour Breathable Long Wear Foundation. Yeah, this is the one I'm going to be trying out today, as well as I've tried out the concealer that is paired along with it. So I'm definitely interested to see how these foundations wear, and you know, if they're good, if they're going to be a new drugstore favorite of mine, if they're not going to be a new drugstore favorite of mine. Definitely want to see, if you're interested to see how this foundation wears on me, what my thoughts on it are, keep on watching. As always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like me, if you like this video, if you like what you see. Give this video a big thumbs up. I definitely will appreciate it, of course. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into the video. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with this foundation review. So like I said, I'm going to be testing out the Rimmel London Lasting Finish 24-Hour Breathable Long Wear Foundation. It says it's a high definition finish and medium coverage, broad spectrum SPF 20 sunscreen, and I got the shade 400 Natural Beige, which I think is going to be a good shade for me. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and prime as always. I like to prime before I do foundation reviews just because it's normally what I do when I wear a foundation on any other day. The primer I'm going to be using today is the Touch in Sol No Pore Primer. I've been really loving this primer lately. It just does a really good job of smoothing pores, and it makes this overall skin texture smoother, so I really like this. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this to my face before I do my foundation. Okay, so now that you're all zoomed in, you can see my skin up close and personal. I'm sorry about that. But as you can tell, just, you know, my face without any coverage on it. I have some skin issues going on down here. That's kind of where I am right now with my skin. Pretty much everywhere else is okay. It's, you know, it's not anything crazy. It's just my skin is, the skin on my chin and like my chin area has been really breaking out lately. So, yeah, so you can see my skin, you know, with nothing on it besides primer, and just kind of how it's looking. And now we'll be able to definitely tell if the foundation does a good job at covering, and if it's buildable, and if, you know, it makes my skin look smooth and all that good stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna show you the applicator up close. This is what it looks like. You know, standard drugstore type of, you know, packaging. And then when you open it, which I think is pretty cool, it actually comes with a little applicator, almost like a concealer applicator, except it's shaped differently. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and, as always, do one side of my face with a beauty blender, or actually this is an EcoTools sponge, and then I'm going to do the other side with a brush just to kind of see if that gives us more coverage, less coverage, if I like the beauty blender or beauty sponge better than the brush, all that good stuff. So this is what my face is looking like with half of it done and half of it not. Obviously you can tell that it did a pretty good job of evening out my skin tone. However, I would say that it's not full coverage, which of course it doesn't claim that at all. It claims that it's going to be medium coverage, which I tend to go towards more full coverage just because I do have some skin issues. But for where it's looking right now, it does look pretty good. I will say that I don't think I like it with a beauty blender application. I think that the product dries down too fast for you to be able to blend it out, and I'm not the fastest blender with a beauty blender. I kind of take my time when I'm using a beauty sponge, so I think I'm going to prefer it with a brush, but we're going to go ahead and see. So I'm going to kind of do the same amount of product on this side, so that way we can see if it's different with a brush and that kind of stuff. So that is my face with the brush side done as well. I think I much prefer the brush. I tend to normally use a brush because I think it's quicker and it's just easier for me to do. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and, well, I want you to see how the face looks. I mean, it looks pretty even, of course, but obviously I don't have enough coverage on this part of my face. You definitely can still see redness and, you know, dark spots from my skin issues that I have going on right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and just dot over the rest of my face and then use my brush for the rest of my face. Okay, so this is how my face is looking with a second layer, and I do want to point out that this foundation has oxidized a lot. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but my face, I'm probably out of focus, but I just want to show you the skin difference. My face versus my skin and my neck. So the foundation, when I first applied it, it did look like my skin tone, like all over, like my neck, it looked like my neck shade. But as I applied it and as it dried down, it has gotten a lot darker. So that is something to take into consideration when you're buying this foundation, because it oxidizes quite a bit. Like, the foundation is also looking a little patchy. Like in this area here, I can notice that some parts are lighter where other parts foundation kind of like stuck and it's a little darker. And over here as well on this side, I don't know if you're able to tell that, but I can tell, you know, looking in a mirror. So I don't know if I should add more. I think I'm going to do another layer because also it's still not as full coverage as I would like it to be here. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get it to be a little bit more full coverage, and maybe we can fix the color of the foundation with using the concealer. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more foundation in the parts where I think it's gotten a little patchy and see if that helps, as well as a little bit on my chin to add more coverage. Okay, so I went ahead and added that extra coverage, and I still will say it's not as, even with the 3 layers on my chin, it's not as full coverage as I would like it. And for me, at this point, I'm not going to go in with any more because I just know that this foundation is what it is, and it says it's a medium coverage. But I have foundations that are medium coverage that I can build to a full coverage. So that's why this one is kind of for me right now. Like, it's not bad, but it's not for me. Yeah, this is kind of where I am with the foundation. I will say though that after adding 3 layers, it doesn't look cakey at all. So I was expecting to, you know, after the second layer to get a little cakiness or a little buildup, but it still looks pretty good in that sense. So the next thing I'm gonna do is try to see if I can salvage the color by going in with the concealer. So hopefully the concealer does a good job of helping even out the skin tone and evening out the color. So we will see if that works. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the concealer, and I actually got 100 Fair, so I'm gonna see if this one will be, you know, light enough. Hopefully it'll end up working out to where it'll help lighten up the foundation a little. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like, and it's got this, you know, sponge tip on the bottom, which is not my preferred way of applying concealer, but we will make do. Okay, so I have attempted to spread it out. I don't like this applicator. It doesn't work very well. The sponge is hard, so I'm not sure if I'm supposed to press into my skin for it to, like, you know, get the product moved around, and then I had to constantly like squeeze it to get it out of there. But nonetheless, I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out. I'm gonna use my sponge to blend it out. Okay, so a few things. One, I think that the shade was pretty good. It helped lighten up the foundation a little. At least that's how it looks to me. I'm not sure if that's how it's being perceived on camera. Another thing, this concealer has like no coverage. I wouldn't call this medium coverage. I would call this light, and if there was anything less than light, I would call it that, because I mean, for me personally, I don't have dark circles. I don't have, under eye bags, so I don't normally use concealer for that purpose. I use it just to brighten my under eye area. But if I was a person who had dark circles and needed a coverage concealer, this is not one I would pick up from the drugstore. I'm actually going to go in with the concealer and do another layer, actually all over the places I just did, to see if it actually brightens any more, and also if I get any more coverage under my eyes. Okay, so that was the second layer, and still I'm just not like, it's just not my favorite. I don't think I like it. I just think that my under eyes don't look very smooth, and even on some parts of my nose it looked like the concealer caused the foundation to lift off my nose. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to see how it looks with all the rest of my makeup on to see if that maybe helps it any. But at this point in time, this foundation is just not my favorite. I want to just see how it looks after I put all the powder on and finish up my face, and I will come back to give you my thoughts on it at that point and let you know how the powder and everything else sits on top of it, and then we will wear it throughout the day and see if it can get any better or can get any worse. Okay guys, so I finished my makeup, and I do have to say that with all of my powder, bronzer, highlight, finishing off my eyes and my lips and stuff like that, the foundation does look better than what I was expecting it to look like. I do have to say that I still don't think it's gonna be one that I reach for the most out of recent foundations that I've tried and have really loved. So this one for me is still kind of like an foundation. So the time right now is 2:12. And like I said, I'm going to be hanging out around the house a little bit, and then I'm going to head to work. So I definitely want to come back maybe at the end of the day and show you how it has worn and my thoughts on it, if I like it any more, any less, and all that good stuff. Alright guys, so I am back. It currently is 10:48 p.m. and I think I started my makeup and finished it at 2:15ish. So my makeup's been on for 8, almost 9 hours now, and I'm actually pretty impressed with how it's held up throughout the day. I'm going to zoom in really quickly so we can kind of look at it up close. Okay, so this is what the makeup looks like up close. Sorry, my fro is in the way. But yeah, so the one thing I noticed the most is that it's just gone a little oily in this area here and a little on my chin, which honestly doesn't look too bad. Like if I was to blot, it probably would go away. Yeah, and you can just kind of tell that that oil kind of went away. So I'm happy. I'm pretty impressed with that wear time, and that for as long as I've worn it, it isn't actually an oil slick at all. It's not slick to the touch, maybe a little on my chin area, but my chin and my cheeks right next to my nose area here and my nose get a little bit more oily throughout the day. I also noticed that right around here it is a little cakey, and there's some breakage of the foundation right in the creases of my nose, but pretty much everywhere else it honestly looks the same. My chin still looks the same, of course, as far as it not being fully covered. I will say that it didn't fade anymore. It didn't, go patchy or anything like that, which is a good thing. Yeah, that's kind of where I am with this foundation. I still am kind of about it. It's not my favorite. I do have drugstore foundations that I do prefer more than this one, and I feel give me more coverage and just overall make my face look a little better than this one does. but I don't think it's like terrible. I don't think it's one of the worst foundations ever. I think it looks good. I think it doesn't look, you know, crazy good, but I think it looks okay. So that's kind of where I am with the foundation at this point. So yeah guys, that completes this video. I hope you enjoyed this foundation review, and as always, if you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I definitely would love to have you. Also, give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!